The door opened with a sound I will never forget. Not because it was loud, but because it sounded like something old finally giving up. My son stepped inside first, slowly, like he was walking into a grave. The house smelled like dust, like locked air, like time. I stood at the doorway, unable to move. My feet felt heavy. My knees felt weak. My hands were shaking. And then I saw it. A child's drawing, pinned to the wall, faded, crinkled, but still there, still waiting. It was drawn in crayons, bright colors, the kind of colors children use before life teaches them pain. In the drawing, there was a man, tall, smiling, with calm eyes, my husband, and beside him, a little girl, holding his hand. The girl had long hair, a dress, a small smile, and above their heads, in messy handwriting, were the words, asterisk asterisk Baba and me, asterisk asterisk. My throat closed instantly. I felt my heart twist. My vision blurred. My son's breath caught. I heard it, like a sharp inhale, like he had been punched. He whispered, "No." I stepped forward, my hands trembling, my eyes locked on the drawing, and suddenly, I felt something deep inside me collapse, because that drawing was not a rumor. It was not a possibility. It was proof. A child had loved him. A child had called him Baba. A child had held his hand. And I never knew she existed. My son walked closer. His fingers touched the paper. He traced the little girl's face. Then he whispered, "She looks like." He stopped. His voice broke. "She looks like me." That sentence destroyed me, because I saw it too. Even in the childish lines, even in the crayons, there was something familiar. The same round cheeks, the same eyes, the same softness. My son swallowed hard, his voice trembling. "Mum." I turned my face away, because I couldn't look at him. Not like this. Not while his father was breaking in front of him. He stepped deeper into the house. I followed. The living room was small. Old furniture, a thin carpet, a sofa with a torn arm, and on the table, a cup, covered in dust, but placed like someone had used it, like someone had once sat there. My chest tightened. On the wall, there was another photo frame, face down. My son picked it up slowly, like he was afraid it would bite him. He turned it over, and we both froze. It was my husband, younger, standing beside a woman. Not me, a different woman. Her face was soft, her eyes tired, her smile forced, like a woman trying to look happy while holding pain inside her chest. And between them, the little girl, the same little girl from the drawing, My son's lips parted. His hands shook. He whispered, "This is real." And then, his shoulders started trembling. He turned away quickly, like he didn't want me to see, like he didn't want to be a son, crying in front of his mother. But I saw my son cry, and something inside me broke in a way it never had before, because I had cried for my husband. I had cried for my marriage. I had cried for my loneliness. But watching your child cry because his father wasn't who he thought, that is a different kind of pain. A pain that makes you want to scream. A pain that makes you want to turn back time and protect him from truth. My son whispered, "Dad had a daughter." He looked at me, his eyes red, his voice shaking. "And you didn't know?" I shook my head, tears falling. "No," I whispered. "I swear, no." My son wiped his face, roughly, angrily. He whispered, "How could he do this?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know. We walked further. The door was half open. My son pushed it. Slowly. Inside, there was a bed, a small wardrobe, a little table, and on the bed, a blanket, folded neatly. That blanket made my throat tighten, because it was the kind of blanket a mother folds, not a man. On the table, there was a box, a tin box, old, with a small lock. My son reached for it. I whispered quickly, "Don't." He froze. He looked at me. "Mum," he whispered, "we have to." My hands were shaking. I nodded. Slowly, he lifted the box. The lock was already broken, like someone had opened it many times, like it had been waiting. My son opened it. Inside, there were letters. So many letters. Stacks. Tied with string. My chest tightened, because I recognized the handwriting. My husband's handwriting. My son pulled out the first letter, his hands trembling. He unfolded it, and he began reading. But after 2 lines, his face changed. His lips parted. His eyes widened. He whispered, "This letter." He looked at me. "It's not to her." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He swallowed. Then he turned the letter toward me. At the top, it said, "To my son." My breath stopped. My son's hands started shaking harder. He whispered. He wrote letters to me. His voice broke. Without giving them to me, I covered my mouth, and I started crying again, because suddenly, I understood. This house wasn't only a secret family, it was also a place where my husband kept his guilt. My son read the letter quietly, his voice trembling. "My son, if you ever find this, it means I'm gone." I felt my stomach twist. He continued reading. "I want you to know, I loved you. I loved your mother. But I was weak, weak. My son's jaw clenched. He whispered, weak. He read on. I made mistakes that I can never fix. I hurt people that didn't deserve it. My son stopped. He threw the letter back into the box, his breathing heavy, his eyes full of anger. He whispered, "This is disgusting." I flinched, because I had never heard my son speak like that. Not about anyone. He turned toward me, his voice shaking. "Mum, did you know about this house?" I shook my head. "No." He stared at me, and suddenly, his anger softened. He stepped closer, and he hugged me, and I broke. I cried into his shoulder. I cried like a woman who had tried to be strong for too long. I cried like a woman who had carried love, and now realized she carried lies. My son whispered, "I'm sorry." I whispered back, "No, I'm sorry." He pulled away slowly. He wiped his face. Then he whispered, "Where is she now?" My throat tightened. "The girl?" He nodded. "Yes." I swallowed, my voice trembling. "I don't know." My son looked down into the box again. He pulled out another letter, then another, and then his hands froze, because at the bottom of the box there was something else. A document, folded neatly. My son opened it, and his face turned pale. He whispered, "Mum." "What?" I asked, my voice shaking. He swallowed hard. This is a birth certificate." My heart stopped. He turned it toward me, and there it was. A name, a date, a place, and under father, my husband's full name. Under mother, a woman's name I had never seen before. And under child, a girl's name, Aisha. My knees almost gave out. My son whispered, "She's not Mariam." He looked at me, his eyes full of pain. Mariam was another woman. My throat burned. And then he whispered the sentence that made me feel like I was going to faint. "She's alive. Alive." I stared at him, my lips trembling. My son's voice cracked. "Mum, she's alive. And she's..." He looked down at the paper again. "She's only 26. 26. I pressed my hand to my chest, because my husband had been dead 20 years, which meant he had her. Before he died, he had carried this secret all the way to the grave, and I had sat beside him, holding his hand, thinking I knew everything. My son whispered, "What do we do?" I couldn't answer. I just stood there, staring at that birth certificate, staring at the proof that my husband had lived a life without me. And then I started shaking, not from fear, from grief, because suddenly I wasn't grieving his death anymore. I was grieving The man I thought he was. My son folded the birth certificate carefully. He looked at me, his eyes red, his voice low. "Mum, I'm going to find her," I whispered. "No." He nodded. "Yes." And then he said something that made my blood run cold. "I think she already knows about us." The moment my son said, "I think she already knows about us," I felt my whole body go cold. Not because it was shocking, but because it sounded true. It sounded like the kind of truth that had been waiting quietly in the dark. Just like that house. My son folded the birth certificate carefully, as if it was fragile. But the paper wasn't fragile. We were. He held it in his hand like it weighed more than a brick. And maybe it did. Because it wasn't just a document. It was proof that my husband had been a stranger in my own life. My son looked around the room again. His eyes kept moving, scanning everything, like he expected the walls to speak. Then he whispered, "Mum, do you think she ever came here?" I swallowed. I looked at the blanket on the bed, the dust on the table, the cup in the living room, and suddenly, I knew. "Yes," I whispered. "She came here." My son's jaw tightened. His voice broke. So Dad didn't just hide her. He kept visiting her. I didn't answer. Because if I said yes, it would become real. And if it became real, I didn't know how I would survive it. We stood in that room for a long time. Two people who loved the same man, and suddenly didn't know what to do with that love. Then my son turned back to the tin box. He pulled out more letters. And this time, he didn't read them out loud. He read silently. His lips moved slightly. His eyes kept filling with tears. Then, after a few minutes, he whispered, "Mum." I looked up. "What?" He held up one letter. His hand was shaking. "This one. This one is for her." I felt my chest tighten. "For Aisha?" He nodded slowly, his voice low. "Yes." He opened it carefully and began reading. "My dearest Aisha, if you are reading this, it means I have failed you again. It means I left before I could make things right. I don't deserve to be called your father, but you are my blood, my child, my quiet prayer." My son's voice cracked. He stopped. He wiped his face quickly. Then he continued, "I want you to know this. You were never a mistake. Your mother was never a mistake. The mistake was me. I was too weak to be honest. I was too selfish to lose comfort, and too cowardly to face consequences." I felt my stomach twist. Coward. That word again. The same word I had whispered to his photograph the night I stopped talking. My son continued reading. "I lived two lives, and I destroyed both. I kept secrets because I was afraid. But in the end, all secrets do is rot inside you until you become someone unrecognizable." My son's voice broke again. He whispered, How can someone write this and still not fix it? I stared at the letter, my eyes burning, and for a moment I didn't feel grief. I felt rage, because it was easy to confess in letters. It was easy to apologize when you were already gone. But the living had to carry the weight. My son kept reading. One day, you will hear about the woman I married first. The woman who stood beside me through everything. The woman who loved me with her whole heart. Her name is the one I never deserved. If you ever meet her, please don't hate her. She didn't know. She was innocent. My breath stopped. My son froze too. His eyes lifted slowly to meet mine. He whispered, "He wrote about you." I didn't speak. My throat was too tight. My son read the last part. "I don't know if you will ever forgive me, but if you have any mercy in your heart, please forgive her, because she is the only person who truly loved me." My son lowered the letter, and the room went silent. I felt tears fall down my cheeks again. Not soft tears, not quiet tears, the kind of tears that make you feel humiliated. Because suddenly, I wasn't just a wife. I was a character in his apology letter, a part of his guilt. My son whispered, "Mum, I don't understand. Why would he do this? Why would he marry you and still do all this?" I sat down on the edge of the bed. My knees felt weak. My hands were cold. And I whispered, "Because some men want love, but they don't want responsibility." My son looked away, his eyes full of pain. Then he whispered, "What if she hates you?" That question hit me harder than anything, because I realized I hadn't even thought about what she felt. I had only thought about my pain, my betrayal, my marriage. But there was another woman out there. Aisha, a daughter, a girl who grew up without a father, a girl who might have spent her whole life wondering why she wasn't enough. I whispered, "She has every right to hate me." My son shook his head quickly. "No, no, Mum. She should hate him." I closed my eyes, and for the first time, I said something out loud that I had never said before. I whispered, "I hate him." My son turned toward me. His eyes widened, because in his whole life, he had never heard me say that. I swallowed hard, and I repeated it. "I hate him. I hate him for what he did to you. I hate him for what he did to her. And I hate him for what he did to me." My voice broke, and I started crying again. But this time, it wasn't grief. It was anger crying. It was betrayal crying. It was the kind of crying that comes when love finally dies. My son came closer. He sat beside me. He didn't say anything. He just held my hand. And for a moment, I felt like I wasn't alone. Then he whispered, "Mum, if she's alive, if she's only 26, then she could be anywhere." I nodded slowly. "Yes." My son stood up. He walked back to the tin box. He searched again. He pulled out papers, envelopes, old receipts. Then he froze. His hand stopped moving. He whispered, "I found something." I looked up. "What?" He held up a small notebook. Old. Brown cover. Faded edges. My stomach tightened. I recognized it immediately. It was my husband's handwriting on the front. And on the first page, written in bold letters, were the words, "Names and addresses." My son opened it, his fingers shaking. And there it was, a list. Not one name, not two, a list. My son's breathing became heavy. His eyes filled again. He whispered, "Mum, there are more." I stared at him, my heart pounding. "More, what?" He swallowed hard, and he whispered, "More women." I felt dizzy. I pressed my hand against the wall. My voice came out weak. "No." My son flipped the pages slowly, and then he stopped on one page. His face turned pale. He whispered, "This one. This one is recent." I frowned. "Recent?" My son nodded. "Yes." He pointed to a name written in darker ink, like it had been written later, not in the past, not in the early years. Later, much later. My son whispered, "This was written only 5 years before he died." I stared at the notebook, my throat burning, my mind spinning, because if that was true, then it meant, even in his old age, even while he was still coming home to me, even while I was making him tea, even while he was holding my hand, he was still hiding things. My son closed the notebook suddenly, his hands shaking, his voice breaking. "Mum, I don't know who he was." I looked at my son, and I whispered something that felt like a funeral. "Neither do I." We left the house after that. We locked the door behind us. My son held the key tightly, like he wanted to crush it. We sat in the car. Neither of us spoke. The road looked normal. The sky looked normal. The world didn't care that our lives had just shattered. Then my son whispered, "I'm going to message her." I turned to him. "Message who?" He looked at me, his eyes red. "Aisha." I froze. "How?" My son swallowed. Then he whispered, "I found her name online." My heart started pounding. "You already searched?" He nodded. "Yes." "And Mum?" He hesitated. Then he said it. "She has a profile picture." I felt my throat tighten. My voice came out shaking. "What does she look like?" My son stared at his phone. Then he whispered, "She looks like Dad." And then he added something that made my blood run cold. "And Mum, she looks like you too." I covered my mouth. My eyes filled instantly, because suddenly, the betrayal became more complicated, more cruel, because that girl, That daughter was part of my husband, but she also carried something of me, something that never belonged to her. My son stared at the phone, his thumb hovering. He whispered, "What do I say?" I couldn't answer, because no words were big enough. And then, my son's phone vibrated. A notification. My son's eyes widened. He whispered, "Mum." I leaned forward. "What?" His voice trembled. "She messaged me first." My heart stopped. What did she say? My son read it slowly, and his face changed completely. Then he whispered the words that made me feel like I was going to faint. She said, "I know who you are." My son stared at the screen. His hands were shaking so badly. The phone almost slipped from his fingers. I leaned closer. My heart was pounding like it wanted to escape my chest. My son whispered. She said, "She knows who I am." I swallowed. My throat was dry. I whispered, "What else did she say?" My son blinked hard, like he was trying not to cry. Then he read it again, slowly. "I know who you are. I've been waiting for this message for years." 4 years. That sentence felt like a heavy stone falling into my stomach. Because it meant she didn't just discover the truth yesterday. She had lived with it. She had carried it. She had waited. My son's lips trembled. He whispered, "Mum." She was waiting. I didn't answer, because I didn't know what to say. What do you say when someone has been waiting for your family to appear in their life? Like a ghost. My son's phone vibrated again. Another message. He opened it, and his face turned pale. He whispered. She said. He paused. His voice cracked. She said, "I know where your father is buried." I felt my whole body freeze. The air in my lungs disappeared. I whispered, "How?" My son looked at me with fear in his eyes. He whispered, "She knows everything." Another message came. My son read it. His breathing became heavy. Then he whispered the words that made my knees weak. She said, "I went to his grave before you did." I stared at my son. My lips parted. No sound came out, because in my mind, my husband's grave was mine. My grief was mine. My place was mine. But now, even that had been shared. My son's voice trembled. "Mum." She visited him. I sat down slowly. My legs felt weak. My hands felt cold. And for a moment, I couldn't even cry. I just felt empty. My son whispered, "Should I reply?" I looked at him, and I nodded slowly. Yes. My son typed, his fingers shaking. He wrote, "Hi. I'm sorry. I didn't know you existed until today." He paused. Then he added, "My name is Daniel. I'm his son." My son stared at the screen for a few seconds. Then he pressed send. We waited. The car was quiet. so quiet that I could hear my own breathing. My son's phone vibrated. He opened it, and his eyes filled with tears instantly. He whispered. She replied. I leaned forward. What did she say? My son read it, and his voice broke as he spoke. She said, Daniel, I've been your sister since the day I was born. Even if you didn't know. My son covered his mouth. His shoulders started trembling. He tried to hold it in, but he couldn't. And then my son cried. Not quietly, not politely. He cried like a child, like a boy who had just lost his father all over again. Except this time, he wasn't grieving death. He was grieving lies. I reached for him. I held his arm. I whispered, It's okay. But I didn't know if it was. My son wiped his face quickly. He whispered, Mum, what do we do? I looked out the window. The sky was pale. The road was normal. People were walking. Life was continuing. And I felt sick, because my life had stopped. I whispered, We meet her. My son turned to me, his eyes wide. You want to meet her? I nodded slowly, my voice shaking. Yes. My son swallowed. But Mum, she might hate you. I whispered. She should. My son shook his head quickly. No. She should hate him. I looked down at my hands. My fingers were trembling. I whispered. Sometimes, children don't know where to put their pain, and they put it on the person who survived. My son stared at me. His voice cracked. Mum, are you scared? I nodded. Yes. I was terrified. Not of her. Not of the truth. I was terrified of one thing. That when I met her, I would see my husband in her face, and my heart wouldn't know what to do. My son's phone vibrated again. Another message. My son opened it. His breathing stopped for a second. He whispered, Mum, what? I asked quickly, my voice shaking. He turned the screen toward me, and I read it. It was from Aisha. It said, I don't want to meet you in a cafe. I don't want to meet you like strangers. I want to meet you where he is. My chest tightened. My voice came out like a whisper. At the grave. My son nodded. She wants to meet at Dad's grave. My stomach turned. My heart started pounding. I felt tears rise. Because that grave was the place I went to talk to him when my nights became too heavy. It was where I cried. It was where I begged him. It was where I felt close to him. And now I had to stand there, with the daughter he hid. My son whispered, When? I stared at the message, my lips trembling. And then the next message came. Aisha wrote, Tomorrow, at 5 p.m. Be there. I have something to give you. Something to give me. My throat tightened. I whispered, What could she possibly give me? My son looked at me. his eyes full of fear. He whispered, "Mum, what if she has letters? What if she has proof? What if she has things we never knew?" I closed my eyes, and I felt my heart break again, because I realized, even now, even after death, my husband was still creating new pain. My son started the car again. He drove in silence. I sat beside him, and for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a wife. I felt like a woman who had been fooled. We reached home. My son walked me inside. He helped me sit down. Then he whispered, "Mum, are you okay?" I looked at him. My voice came out weak. "No." And I didn't pretend. My son nodded slowly. He whispered, "I'll come tomorrow." I nodded. Then I whispered, "Daniel." He looked at me. I swallowed hard. And I asked the question that had been killing me. "Do you still love him?" My son's eyes filled. He looked down. His voice cracked. "I don't know." He paused. Then he whispered, "I miss the father I thought I had." That sentence was the saddest thing I had ever heard. Because it was true. He wasn't missing my husband. He was missing an idea, a memory, a lie. That night, after my son left, I sat alone again. The lamp was on. The room was quiet. His photograph sat there, smiling, like he had done nothing wrong. I stared at him. My lips parted. I tried to speak. I tried to say, "Why did you do this?" But nothing came out. Not a single word. My throat closed. My voice disappeared again. And I realized I wasn't just angry. I was tired. Tired of talking to him. Tired of loving him. Tired of begging him for answers. I lay down on my bed. I stared at the ceiling. And for the first time, I didn't talk to him at night. Not even one sentence. I didn't say goodnight. I didn't say I miss you. I didn't say anything. I just lay there and let silence fill the room. But then, at around 2 a.m., I heard something. A sound. Soft. Small. Like paper moving. I sat up instantly. My heart pounding. The room was dark. The lamp was off. The photograph was still there. I listened again. And then I heard it. A faint sound. Coming from the drawer. The drawer where I kept his things. My breath caught. My hands started shaking. I whispered, "No." I got up slowly. My knees weak. My feet cold against the floor. I walked to the drawer. I opened it. And I froze. Because something inside was not where it was supposed to be. His old wallet. The one I kept for years. The one I never touched. It was open. And inside, there was a folded paper I had never seen before. My throat tightened. My fingers trembling. I pulled it out slowly. I unfolded it. And my heart stopped. It was a letter, in his handwriting, and at the top, it said, "To my wife, the one I never deserved."